Right, so I've basically decided to make a video to try and make people aware of mental illness. In November, I got diagnosed with depression, and I had been suffering with it for a while before. But then I finally admitted that I needed help. I couldn't cope with things like college anymore, and I felt embarrassed and felt as though I was a failure. I don't go to college anymore, and I've been put onto antidepressants. And like a lot of people that suffer with mental illness will develop an addiction to temporarily numb the pain, the mental pain that they're suffering. And you know, the things that they often get addicted to are drugs, self-harming, and alcohol. And I turn to alcohol. The whole point of this video is to basically make people aware of how serious mental illnesses are and how they can affect anyone. The suspected reason for me developing depression is it runs through my family, and my mum has it. So this basically means my sister has to put up with me and my mum, who are both suffering with depression. So I really cannot explain how proud I am of her, and I will do anything to make sure her life is successful. I can't imagine how she feels when she sees me drunk, witnesses me having a bad day, or sees all the empty beer cans and bottles and whatever because I've decided to drown my sorrows. I'm not doing this video to tell you about me and everything that I've gone through or what I've not gone through, all that sort of stuff. I want to help people realise who mental illness affects, and to basically, try and change the society we live in. People are afraid to admit they have mental illness because they feel no one cares or will help them. They're worried about telling people because they feel as though they'd be annoying someone when they're talking to them. Or they're also scared of bringing the person they're talking to down. They don't want to give them all their troubles. They'd rather suffer themselves. Mental illness can affect anyone, and it will change someone's life forever. One day you could be happy and love the life you're living, and the next day you could suddenly want to end your life. And yeah, that seems extreme, but it's reality. There's people around us suffering in silence, and they're just wishing people would care about them, basically. I want to make people understand how they can save someone's life by simply saying hi or smiling at someone. Because by asking someone how they are, you are making that person aware they exist and that they're not invisible. I feel people use the word depressed too often for wrong reasons. Like when they don't get something they want in a shop, they can't afford it. Not because they're struggling financially, but because they spent their money on something else, and they say they're depressed. That's not being depressed. Being depressed is sitting in a dark room by yourself, shutting the world out, or crying in the mirror, begging yourself to hang on for one more day and convincing yourself that things will get better. People who suffer from a mental illness don't feel comfortable talking to people about their illness because they're scared of being judged, or feel the people that they're opening up to and talking to don't care. I'm not asking people to understand the effects of mental illness, because personally I feel that you have to experience it to truly understand it. But I'm asking people to basically let others know that they care, and just check people are alright, check they're okay. People with a mental illness will smile, they'll put on a front when they're around people, and they'll lie a lot, but you won't notice. I don't get it, like when we ask people if they're alright and they said they're sad, we're quick to ask them why they're sad. But the moment someone says they're good, we just leave it. We're just like, oh, okay, that's good then. But when someone says they're okay, good, or fine, we need to ask them why they're okay, good, or fine. We need to get the answers out of that. And then when they answer that, question, ask them another question from their answer to the previous question. Because by questioning them, if that person is hiding something, they're likely to open up to you because they realise you care. You might feel stupid for constantly questioning answers because we don't do it. No one does it. But one day you could eventually realise that you've helped someone that was suicidal or someone that was just really low. But at the end of the day, you help them by asking those questions. There are so many different types of mental illnesses, and I suffer from depression, which is pretty common mental illness. People with depression will often overthink and cause themselves to believe people have a certain view towards them, before they've even spoken to that person. Depression will affect your sleep. It causes problems to your eating, so, you develop a really unhealthy diet. Sometimes you're eating too much, sometimes you're eating too little, and you're not eating balanced food at all, you're just eating crap, basically. Whatever you can grab. It'll stop you from enjoying anything. Like, it's really weird. It's like I can sit and stare at a TV and not take anything in. Like, for me, I watch Match of the Day because football's like my life, and I could be sat there watching it next to someone and someone would score a goal. It could be goal of the season, but I wouldn't have noticed it because all I was seeing was people running around on the screen because I wasn't paying attention to it. And it's really hard to explain. And people with depression are literally happy to sit in a room and stare at a wall because that's what they're pretty much doing when they're staring at a TV. And it's horrible. It affects everything. When you're sat in college and the teachers are teach you all the stuff, and then tells you to have a go at it yourself. Like, especially when I was taking maths, and then I was told to answer some questions, I had no idea what I was doing because nothing went in. I was just staring at a bunch of letters on a whiteboard before that, and then I suddenly had to throw all these letters and numbers around together. And it really affects your social life. You don't want to go out, you don't want to see your friends, you don't want to see your family. You just shut yourself away. You feel it's better for everyone else because you don't want to bring them down, and you also can't face people. You feel as though everyone's judging you and you feel really low about yourself. I had doubts basically about doing this video, but I basically feel as though, why should I care that you all and everyone who's watching this video knows what I'm suffering from? Because I'm praying that by telling you guys and telling anybody, and when people ask me now, I'm not going to lie to them, I'm just going to say, yeah, I've got depression. It's going to help the next generation of kids growing up to, feel more comfortable with mental illnesses. And, if it will help these kids, then I'm willing to do this. There's thousands of people in the country hiding their mental illness, but they're there praying that someone comes along to save them. And literally all it takes is for one person to ask them how they are, or just let them know they're not invisible by saying hi, or, oh, I saw you earlier, or how are you? Just little things. Even if you just have a little conversation, you suddenly make this person feel wanted. Realize that people do notice that they exist. We don't expect people to understand, but we pray that they try to show us they care. They try to let us know they care about us. Both males and females will suffer from mental illness, and there's nothing wrong with suffering from it. Because, there's so many people suffering, you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with crying. It doesn't make you weak. There's nothing wrong with being upset. We live in this world where people fake smiles and hide how they really feel, but I feel as though people should feel comfortable to be honest with people when they're asked how they are, or not have to lie about going to college or going to work if they have depression. I basically want everyone to know they can talk to me about anything. Like, I'll always be there and be happy to listen to any problems and give advice or a shoulder to cry on if you want, if you want that from me. I don't care how big or small you feel your problem is. You could tell me, now listen, I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to listen to you and, either advise you or support you or whatever you want, whatever you're wanting from me, I'll do it. So I don't want anyone to be afraid to talk to me. And I basically want to do everything I can to help to help others. But obviously some days I'll struggle myself because I have depression and people are obviously going to have to accept that. The society we're living in needs to change. Thousands of people are suffering from mental illness, but people aren't realising it until it's too late. It's a serious issue and I will do everything in my power to change it, and it's starting today. You all know my biggest secret now, and a little bit about myself. But there's loads of people just like me, and there's people a lot worse than me, and they need help, but they're too afraid to ask for it, or they're feeling they won't be accepted by the people around them anymore because they're mentally ill. And I'll literally do anything I can now to change it, but I can't do this by myself. There's nothing wrong with having a mental illness, and people need to know they're not alone. More things need to be done to support those with a mental illness, and also support the people affected by it, like my sister. She has to stand by and watch the people she cares and loves about so much suffer. There is help available, and in the future there will be even more help. You could look at websites, you can get counselling, medication is offered to, people with certain mental illnesses. But I think the best help available is literally the people around us, and it will be the people around us. If more people can do it, you'll be amazed at how much it helps. People around us learning to accept mental illnesses and not understand but care and not judge them. And literally by just saying hi and asking someone if they're okay, you help someone massively. Mental illnesses are viewed and dealt with, but obviously I can't do it by myself. But no matter what, I'm not giving. This has been made more aware of, and people in the and up until that day. Ask you often yourself, what have you got left to live for? Is there anything in this world? I've now finally, today in fact, got my answer. And it's basically people. I think about my little cousins and my entire family in fact, because I want the society to change for them, but for also for just you guys. For you guys in general. I literally pray every day for you and hope you don't ever have to suffer, but there's a chance you will, or people already are. Made to basically ask people to do little things and to try and make you realise and understand that mental illness can affect literally anyone. It's not, and people can't help it, but we can help support them. If you've watched this video, I really appreciate it, and I mean it when I say that I'm here, one of you, whenever you need a talk. So literally, please don't be afraid to ask for help or a chat, because I am here. I know what it's like. I understand. But, I'll be there for you guys for anything. So, yeah, once again, if you've watched this video, then... So, thank you for listening, basically.